And that was all from looking at the offer repeatedly and making the time shorter and the investment the same. And that was a huge driver of our success. So that is like how you start to look at your offers.
You can do this with any sort of product. Guys on the call that we had this week, we had a build contractor on there, we had a landscape designer on there. You can absolutely be doing these sorts of premiums and bonuses with your offer to make it super attractive.
Welcome to the Waker Man podcast. Pete, how are you doing?
Good. How are you, Ben?
I'm good. Oh, honestly, marveling. I gave Pete, this is another one. We just have a conversation before the podcast, and we've been running our open week on the Awaken Man. What we do on our paid program is we open the doors from time to time, invite some guys on to experience what we do. It's totally complimentary, and we've had a great open week. I've really enjoyed watching men experience men's work and business support like we give it, and we've created an offer for these guys, and Pete wrote an offer. He's like, we're going to be talking about this on today's podcast. And it was just it's nice to observe your business partner just put together something of such high expertise. I was just giving him a nod before we started.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's all right. It's I think that something we talk about is men actualizing their potential, and watching, people around you stepping into and doing great work, phenomenal. Do you get what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
well done, buddy. That's it's just nice to see, and that forces me to operate from a higher level as well. And I just want to give him a nod.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate that. So what Ben's talking about, which is the subject that we're going to talk about today, is creating no-brainer offers for your business. That's something that we've been talking about this week on the Open Week. It's been something that I've had my head into for a long time, so has Ben. But last night I put the finishing touches to our no-brainer offer, and it was a whole lot easier than it was creating that then probably like 3 or 4 months ago when I did the last one. And it's practice doing it like over and over and over again. Like the amount of times I've started to write these offer documents and write an offer, and when I first started doing it wasn't all that great, but over and over again, practice, you start to find what copy works and what words work, and it starts to come together a lot easier.
Well, I think it's a really good way to describe your business. Like, I think that's, fundamentally what I read in that document was just, I was like reading it, because sometimes when someone says like, what do you really do with people when you're in business? And you kind of, every single time you come up with a different set of phrases to describe what you do and how you do it. And when you read something like that and you're like, hey, this is actually what we do with guys, and this is how we help them, and this is the things that they get. And I was like, yeah, I totally get that. So I think what a really good offer does is it demonstrates to people exactly what you do, and it does it it explains what you do and the result that they'll get and how they'll get that result in a really pragmatic, understandable format that doesn't sound all confusing, and it sounds very logical. And I think that's what I learned, such a long time ago. And this is something that I remember paying one of my best ever mentors, and he drummed it into me on literally every single session that we had together. The best way to grow your business is to get your offer right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just on, because I thought of something that I wanted to say then, and we did a session on this a few weeks ago about just being better. Like, rather than chasing the new thing, it's just improving the things that you've already got and being better. It's like, more often than not, it's the highest leverage thing that we can do. And more often than not, it's boring. It's like the really boring work. Like me going over and over on that offer again and again and again. It is pretty boring, right? I wrote that a while ago. Now I'm like rewriting it, but it's like a landing page or like a Facebook ad or whatever that. Like, the more iterations that we make to make that better. So say like our landing page got a 10% conversion rate, and if we make an iteration to that and it gets a 15% conversion rate, our sales have just gone up massively by that increment, by just doing the boring work and split testing and seeing what works and seeing what doesn't and going back and making it better. Rather than finding something new, we're just making what we've already got even better. So then we'll get a 30% conversion rather than a 20% conversion on what the previous document was, and so forth.
Yeah, well, even looking back at the previous one you'd written, that was 6 pages, and now this is 5. So, and it's better. It's just, but if you can say what you're going to say in 5 pages over 6, it makes it better. But yeah, and I just want to kind of share, I think, like the top level principle of why offers are so important. So my definition of business is the building of relationships by making and keeping promises. So that was, given to me as a definition of business years ago. the building of relationships by making and keeping promises. Now, if you want your business to grow, you either need to make more promises or you need to keep more promises. That's the balance. If you want to kind of look at your business, look at your bank account, okay, I haven't got enough money in there. What are one of the two things going wrong? Am I not making enough promises, offers, or am I not keeping enough promises, not fulfilling and we could do a whole session on fulfillment as well. And those two forces on either side of a circle, if you wish, when they're in balance, I'm making lots of offers, I'm keeping lots of promises and helping the people, the circle of what called money grows. Yeah, the circle of money. So I make a promise, I keep a promise, I can make a bigger promise, keep that bigger promise, and that just spirals. And I think that's what happens when you effectively create a really, really good offer and fulfillment system in your business. Now, when we're talking through offers, what it means is like I can remember, just going to give you a brief introduction about what happened in my business, my fitness business, when I was dialing in my offer. So over the first couple of years, I started with Fast. I was promoting 12-week transformations, built a team, and we sold 12-week transformations. And then one day I came in and said, hey guys, I've got an idea. We can do the same thing in 8 weeks. And that was me saying, right, we're going to charge the same, but we're going to do it in 8 weeks instead of 12. And I had massive pushback from the staff, like, this is crazy. We won't be able to get the results. And I was like, just push the big old trust button. People want the same result. They want it quicker. We think it's about the time. And lo and behold, charge the same amount. People bought more of it. They got better results. So made more promises because, it's easier to get people to say yes to 8 weeks. They got the result. They bought again. And so we made more money. Then a couple of years later, I was like, right, okay, we're going to do the same thing, but in 6 weeks. So we went from 12 to 8 to 6. And you would have thought that the results got worse because they had less time. People got better results because they didn't mess about and they could focus more on 6 weeks than they could 12. And this was just the way that we saw things. And more people said yes to that offer. We got more frequent results and more people bought. So my business, like year on year, over the first, say, 6 years of being in a gym, grew by about 20 to 30 people year on year who would stay as the nucleus, the main like kind of bulk of the clients that we had. And that was all from looking at the offer repeatedly and making the time shorter and the investment the same. And that was a huge, huge driver of our success. So that is like how you start to look at your offer. So Pete's going to walk us through how he would go about creating offers. And I'm going to share with you some of the forces behind that as well, some of the relationship forces in today's podcast.
What you just said there about reducing that timescale and getting more uptake doesn't surprise me one bit. Us as humans, right? We want things quick and we want them easy. We want it as fast as we can get it. I'll have it now, right? Even if like the true transformation, the true project, the true outcome takes 12 months or 2 years, that's hard to sell. But the quick and right or wrong, right? The quick, easy, fast is what we want to buy. That's what attracts us. New, different, quick, easy, fast. So you had a new 6-week program, which was different to the 8-week program. It's quicker and it's faster. You're pulling all these levers, right? Which are just like for human psychology, it attracts us.
Yeah, I think one of the things I've noticed is when you get the right offer, it addresses people's need for a quick win. And we were talking about this with the guys in the group, and what was happening, especially in the weight loss space, is that the guys, fundamentally as an expert in a weight loss space, that transformation takes time. So guys would repel and almost sell against the quick fixes so much that they got to the point where people wouldn't choose to work with them because they're like, oh, well, this is going to take like 12 months. And they were actually, a lot of the things, when you do the principles of weight loss correctly, you do get quick wins. And they were forgetting to share that because they were so against that message. So like Pete said then, you have to, in your offer, address people's need for a quick win. And that's something that's a fundamental part of your offer. It's like, hey, listen, I know that you want this really quickly. This is what you're likely to get quickly, but I know that the long-term result is this is what you want.
Absolutely. So the quick wins part, that's one of the levers that we pull in our business is when a new man comes on board, when a new member joins, we're like, right, really, really quickly, where can we get the quick wins for him? Where can we build momentum so he can get some shifts immediately, right? Because then he immediately feels like he's winning. Like it really helps with buyer's remorse to like alleviate that by like as soon as they're in, it's like, right, here's some things to do. Right, okay, let's get on a call. Now let's find where we can get you winning and make a shift for you. Right, that alleviates massively on buyer's remorse.
Well, I remember actually going on a retreat, and I signed up to the retreat, and it was like, say, 4 to 8 weeks away. And the thing that we did before the retreat was we made the money that we spent on the retreat back before we even got on the retreat. And I remember thinking like, this is amazing. Like, this is this is awesome. I'm going to get loads of stuff to help me make money as soon as I've signed up for the retreat. And I think I'd made the money back that I'd spent on the flights, the retreat, and the time off paying my staff to cover me whilst I was away. I was like, this is brilliant. I like the results in advance situation. I love that.
Yeah.
And it's quite what you said there, Pete, about people just coming in, they buy a program, they get momentum straight away. That makes them better clients as well, because momentum breeds momentum.
Mm-hmm. So, no-brainer offers. This is how I like to think about a no-brainer offer. This is an offer that you would feel stupid saying no to, and then you need to tell your friends about it because the product's so good. All right, so you feel stupid. And so this is how we want to think about our service and our products and what we're putting out to the market. Like that, our potential clients, they'd feel stupid saying no to that because it's a no-brainer. And then when they're involved with it, it's so good that they have to tell their friends about it.
Yeah, like even springs to mind right now is like people who spend money to go on first and business class on a flight. Logically, that doesn't make any financial sense at all, really. Like if you actually look at it. But I think every single advert I've ever seen for first and business has always come from someone who's been in business class or first class. Said, you've got to do it. You've got to fly it. You've got to enjoy it. You've got to experience it. And that is exactly that in action. And like they'll say it makes no logical sense to do it, but when you do it, you understand why.
Yeah. And the next thing with like creating our offer or improving our service, and I said, hey, I fell into this trap. I absolutely fell into this trap of like, I created an offer. I thought I had product market fit, right? I thought the market really, really wanted it. I thought it was a real grand slam. It was a real fit, right? You go into like this, like, let's scale, let's ramp this, let's get momentum, let's hype this up, let's build, let's scale. No, don't do that. Don't fucking do it, guys. I'm telling you, going from like a mini scale on the scheme of things, what I did was minuscule compared to some of the other guys that that mentor us and that we look up to, right? However, my mini scaling was ridiculously painful, right? We burned loads and loads of cash, lots of it. It tormented me through night and day because there were so many problems that were coming with us wanting to scale our business and scale our offer. Well, we needed more people, we needed more systems, we needed more money. Like we just couldn't get enough clients because everything was building, right? It's disgusting. It's horrible. So don't do that. And this is what we're doing now. Like we're doing this very, very differently now. And in hindsight, this is what I would have done then was I would have created that offer, right? And then I wouldn't have gone full scale ramp. I'd have got a bunch of clients with it and then done everything in my power to make their experience absolutely unbelievable and astonishing and wow. And like, oh my God, I need to tell my friends about this before I go scale. Let's ramp this up with Facebook ads and Google ads and YouTube and yada, and outbound dialing teams and da. It would have been, right, let's make sure that our product is freaking unbelievable, right? That this truly does get the outcome and promise that we say it does and beyond. And then we're growing because our clients are telling their friends. Then we go, right, now we've actually got something that we can take to the market and put into something like ads. And we're not gonna get a 1.2 return on ads. We're gonna get 5, 6, 7, 10, 20 return on that because we know it's an actual fit and we know it's an amazing product. And we know that for every dollar we spend on an ad and we get a client from that client's going to tell a couple more friends. So our return on spend is so much bigger than just relying on ads.
Yeah, gosh, what you just shared there made so much. Looking back over our last, say, 6 to 8 months this year, God, the 6 to 8 months, God, the year. I just realized it's like end of November. It's like it explains so much about where we missed the mark, and we did things this year that made so much sense. Like we had when our first offer for the Awakened Man was you joined for a year, and it was even on the calls with guys when we were speaking to guys like, hey, it's a year-long program. Some of them really struggled with that off the mark because they'd literally not known us for very long. And when we changed it to, hey, it's a 3-month commitment, that same problem wasn't there. So that changed so much when we changed the offer. And equally, we actually reduced the price of our offer. That was another thing that we did. And it helped people get going really quickly. It was and when we reduced the price of the offer, more people said yes. They found it easier to say yes. And then when they got on board, they still had free cash flow to do other things to help them get momentum and success. So actually, sometimes it's not about adding cost. Like, sometimes it's about finding the right fit. And so that's what we've been doing. We've literally been, what were the expression, as Pete said before, is dialing in the offer.
Yeah, yeah. So for you guys listening, and your products and your services, or your potential products and services, can you honestly, hand on your heart, say that people would feel stupid saying no to what you do? And can you, hand on your heart, say that your service is so undeniably the best, right, that you just get referrals and you get referrals and you get referrals because it is so good, right? We did this call on Monday with all the guys, and I raised a couple of questions there. So we talked about business and life, right? It's all about asking great questions. And the question that we initially posed to the team was that if you could only sell one product to one person, and the only way for you to go and get another sale is for that person to tell someone else about it, what would you have to do, right? So you can't go out and do outbound dials, you can't go out and do Facebook marketing, you can't go out and do coffees with people or networking. The only way you can get another client is for your only client to tell someone else. What would you have to do, right? It makes you think about your offer and your service way differently. Like, is this below the mark? Is this a no-brainer? Is it undeniably the best?
Yeah, I think that's like, it speaks to that thing of what we talked about on other podcasts, is that the metric for that is NPS. We're very diligent with that. Every single Friday, an NPS goes out. How likely are you to refer the awakened man to a friend or a relative? And if it's below 9, we want to know why. And it really, really helps, because that's the metric that measures what Pete is saying right there. Like, how are they a Raven fan? Or is it okay? Or is it just like, oh, I feel okay about it? Now, what's interesting is on NPS, anything below a 9 means that they're not a Raven fan. They're actually not going to shout about your business in a way that's going to make people go, oh my God, I got to check this out.
Yeah, yeah. And another question that I've been toying around with lately, asking myself this question over and over and over, is who am I to be worthy of making £1 million? Or who am I to be worthy of making £10 million? So this is 10 million in my bank account, right? And it just comes back to me, it's just about value. Like, am I actually giving that amount of value to warrant that being in my bank account? Like, is my business actually giving that amount of value to its clients to warrant me having that in my bank account? Right, so who am I worthy to be making? And then whatever your number is there, £1 million. I've put £1 million there for the guys, because it's like most guys, or $1 million. Oh, I'd love $1 million in my bank account. Right. So who am I to be worthy of making that? And like, are you truly giving the value out to the market, out to the team, right? Out to your clients, that you could say, yeah, do you know what? I am doing that. It's just about patience and continuing what I'm doing.
Yeah, I was coaching someone the other day actually, and they had what they were describing as like mini blocks. I kind of, whenever I have mini blocks, I'm like, no one has a mini block. It's just a story. And I just said to I think it was here, I said to it, the money in your bank account is directly proportional to the amount of people that you're serving and the depth to which you're serving them. Now, this really helped them, because sometimes it's like we have this kind of self-worth issue that creeps into money in our bank accounts. And actually, it's like, get your attention off yourself and get it onto service. So if you think about it, if I've got lots of people I'm serving very deep and very powerfully, that's going to reflect positively in my bank account. And that really helped me. Like, that was something that really helped me a long time ago, when I was like, actually, I looked in my bank account, I saw a number that I wasn't happy with, and I told my mentor at the time, and he said to me, this is just a feedback loop, that you've got lots of people, but you're not serving them powerfully enough. And I was like, right. So I created a deeper offer to serve them more powerfully through coaching and more personal training, and my bank account changed. So I think that's a really nice way to look at that.
Mm-hmm. Right then. So why do people buy? Right, your customers or potential customers only buy your offer for an outcome. Right, they just want an outcome. That outcome is one of two things. It's for an alleviation of a problem, so alleviation of a bit of pain, or for an unfulfilled desire. Right, that's it. Super, super simple. You want to alleviate a problem or fulfill one of their desires.
Yeah, I think the last thing I bought, so a guy recently bought a coaching school, and I bought that to alleviate. No, it wasn't alleviate a problem. No, it's probably more so, but a bit of both. I had a problem. I didn't have as many coaching clients as I wanted. I wasn't full, and the problem was like I felt like I was missing some stuff. Like there was information that I was missing, and yeah, that's why I bought those things.
Mm-hmm. Two parts to a no-brainer winning offer, right? Number one, we want a better proposition. And number two, we need a super sexy, attractive solution, right? a better proposition, and we need an attractive, sexy solution, right? So examples, right, of better proposition. Let's say you're in the health and fitness space, right? You're a fitness coach, you're a local gym owner or personal trainer. There are dozens, right, if not hundreds of people in your area offering the same thing. So how can you stand out above? Like, how can your proposition be a better offering than what your competitors are doing and the other people in the market are doing, right? So that's just better proposition. Solution, and I got a nice little example for this. The solution itself needs to be attractive and not painful, right? The example that I gave on the call the other day is, and I related this back to my previous business. So let's say I'm selling architecture for your dream home. So I'm going to design your dream home, right? So that's my offer to you. I'm going to design your dream home, and here's some of my terms with that. It's all the payments. We can split all the payments for all my design services. In fact, you don't have to pay anything for the first 30 days until you've seen all of our wonderful designs, right? And if you don't like them, or you're not 100% happy with our designs, you can have a full refund, right? And you can keep all the drawings, you can keep all the sketches, you can keep all the 3D models, everything that we do, right? Sounds good. Okay, but just for my terms here, what I need you to do. So in order for this to work, for the first 30 days, I need you to go out at night at 2 a.m., 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. and just check the roof of your house to see if there's any bats nesting in your roof, right? Because it's critical to our design and us getting planning permission. Even if it's raining, even if it's cold, 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m., right? I then need the full report in my inbox by 7 a.m. every morning for the next 30 days. Right, I'll still give you all the bonuses, but that's what I need to fulfill this. How many do you think I'd sell?
Big fat zero there, Pete.
Big fat zero.
Sorry,
Right.
bro. You're gonna be
The
poor.
example is extreme.
That's it.
Right, the example is extreme, but I just to get the point across, it's painful. Right, you're not going to want to get out of bed at 2 a.m. and then 4 and then 6. And then write a report by 7 a.m. in the morning and send that to me, right? Because that's the solution that I need. That's your work that I need you to do for us to get the solution. It's painful. You're not going to do that, right? If the solution is painful and it's hard work, you're not going to want it. So the solution itself, the bit that you have to do, has to be attractive, not just the proposition. Make sense?
Yeah, and I'm just going to use the opposite, it's not the opposite, but the similar example in fitness, that most fit pros think that clients want to do lots of training, and they don't. They're like, if you can make it less and less frequent, and say, hey, you can still get the same results by training 3 times 30 minutes a week, and you'll get better results. That's more attractive for some people. I think often the problem is, especially in the fitness world, is it's sold by people who love fitness. The people who struggle with fitness, they don't want to do loads of fitness. And that's something I realized. And you're just literally getting rid of the problems that they experienced along the way. I remember when my highest ticket offer in the fitness space, we actually did 2 meals for the clients. So we gave them 2 meals, and it was that our offer is like, listen, we'll actually even take 2 meals out of your day, totally out of your hands, where you don't have to even think about them. You just eat what we give you. It'll be super nutritious. It'll be really tasty. And that was a really big selling point for quite a few clients. Like, oh yeah, this is what, not only do I just pay for my fitness, I get pick up every single morning when I'm training, that I just get my food. And that was like really attractive for them, because the least attractive thing for them was cooking.
Yeah, that's lovely. That is, I can see that. It's like, here's your plan for the next 12 weeks, 8 weeks. I need you to train 4 to 5 days a week, and I need you to cook all these meals, and they're going to be broccoli and chicken the whole time. Oh, painful. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Whereas, but you start adding things like that in, hey, you don't have to cook all that chicken and broccoli. We'll make you nutritious food, and it tastes good, right? And then you can pick it up when you come to the gym.
Yeah, it was big. It was big.
Yeah.
Well, in a second, I'll go through the ladder that I use for making sure the offer is got what's called magnitude. You got any more to cover off, Pete?
Yes, I have. So I'm going to go into just some fundamentals on your proposition. So your USP. So making this a no-brainer. All right. So there's 2 parts we're going to talk about now. We're going to talk about the USP itself, right? No-brainer USP, and then no-brainer solution, no-brainer sexy solution. Right. So in the USP part, we want to think about how we're going to build out our offer. Right. So deliverables being one. So how is the service going to be delivered? Right. And on this, we don't want to spend a lot of time because people don't care. Like, we really, really don't care how it's going to be delivered. And this is where, like, a lot of guys will spend the most time because it's easy. It's really, really easy to go, well, we'll meet up 5 days a week, or we'll meet up twice a week, and then we'll do a Zoom call 3 times a week. And I'll give you like some WhatsApp chat where you can message me or whatever that, like, it's really, really easy just to think about the deliverables. And that's why we spend a lot of time there. But people don't care about it, right? You actually want to spend 20% of your time here, and then 80% of your time actually in the benefits of, like, this is how we're going to deliver it. This is the benefit that you're going to get from going through that deliverable. Make sense?
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Next bit, benefits. So we've got our deliverables. We know how we're gonna deliver these 3 things. We've got 3 core deliverables, right? There are 3 core types of benefit. You got number 1, functional benefits. Number 2 is experiential benefits. Number 3 is emotional benefits, right? Again, we spend a lot of time in the functional benefits part. We don't want to do that. We want to spend 20% of our time in the functional benefits. The rest of the 80% of our time is done in experiential and emotional, right? So most of our marketing, we will talk functional benefits, which is really like first layer of the onion. It's top layer. It's top layer, right? Example is of a functional benefit. I'll get you consistent sales. So sounds good. I'll get you consistent sales, right? But it's very, very top levels, very, very functional. Making sense, Ben?
Yeah, I can see how this would link because, like, I often think about functional benefits more than the emotional ones. But, like, I'll get you consistent sales, so you can hire a salesperson, so you can have more time to spend with your kids. It's like, that's it. Like, that's what we want to be sharing.
Yeah. So and that, again, because it's easy for us to think about the functional benefits. It's like, I'll get you more sales, or I'll help you lose weight, or I'll design your house, or I'll cut your lawn, or I'll make you have a nice lawn. It's really, really easy to think about the functional benefits, but we want to think about the experiential benefits and the emotional side of that. So example of our consistent sales as a benefit, the example here might be, well, can you imagine your Stripe account pinging every morning with new sales notifications, right? So every morning you wake up and it's going ping, 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 ping of all these new sales notifications coming in from all the sales that we're going to help you make. So then it just, like, promotes an emotional response, because you start to think about, oh yeah, that, like I can imagine now my phone pinging off now going sale, sale, sale. Oh, that is a good feeling, right? We start to experience that and promote emotional responses. Functional benefits don't do that. Me saying you're going to get consistent sales, it's like, oh, okay, cool.
It
I've
doesn't
read
sound,
that
yeah.
27 times. Like, everyone says they're going to get consistent sales.
Yeah, I can see
Right.
that actually. I was just really picturing what you were saying there, like picking up your phone and you can see your stripes mailed you to say new sales. I'm like, oh, that'd be, that is lovely. We do experience that, and then, like, versus I'm going to get you consistent sales has no charge for me at all.
Yeah, absolutely. So think about this for your business. What's the functional benefits? And then break it down. Okay, well, what's the experiences that they're going to get from that functional benefit, from that top level benefit? What's the emotions that they're going to feel from that? We want to spend most of our time in that area, right? Because we start getting people to elicit emotions, right? And we remember emotions. We spoke about this on a previous podcast, right? We recall emotions. It sticks with us. We remember it, right? We're already, by doing this, standing out from 80% of the crowd by just doing this. Okay. So the next lever we can pull after we talked about deliverables, we talked about all types of benefits, is price, right? So you can pull prices, you can pull levers on your prices. So you've got 2 types of pricing. You've got hard pricing, you've got soft pricing. Hard, buy the product, $49, take the product today, right? Soft pricing is something like you pay nothing today, take the product home, enjoy it. Only when you're blown away, you come back and you pay $69, right, in 30 days, right? So you can play around with the type of the pricing. Next one is terms. So what terms are you putting around your service? Terms is a great one. Terms really, really, really important. Mega, mega important to make your offer super, super attractive.
Yeah, well, I think it just helps some people pay for it. Like, some people genuinely they are looking at their cash flow to be able to afford what you're doing, and they'll actually make an assumption. Like, they'll make a decision based on the terms, because, like, I can't afford that if it's 30 days apart, but if you give me 45 or 60, I can definitely do the second payment. And so that's a powerful lever, I think, because ultimately I think people do buy on terms.
Absolutely, but many a times we forget about terms. And I used this example the other day. Ben, I'm going to buy your house, right? Your house is worth 500k on the market. I'm going to give you $1 million for it. I'm like, cool, yeah, Pete, I'll take that. Lovely, I'll take that. But if I then said, great, let's sign a deal. Oh, by the way, in the small print, my terms are actually I'm going to pay that $1 million over the next 30 years. You need to move out so I can rent it monthly for 4,500. I'm going to make a couple of thousand and then I'll slowly pay you off. Right? Terms aren't that attractive, right? Because all you initially were interested in was the price, right? We do this with our offers. We just focus on the price, not thinking about the terms that we can make really attractive.
Yeah.
Next one, premiums and bonuses, right? And premiums and bonuses isn't just for like online fitness coaching or online business coaching, whatever. It's not just for the coaching industry or like buying a course and you get these bonuses. You can do this with any sort of product. You know, guys on the call that we had this week, we had a build contractor on there. We had a landscape designer on there. You can absolutely be doing these sorts of premiums and bonuses with your offer to make it super, super attractive. So, and we want to spend a lot of time here. This isn't just I've got that thing stuck in the shed. I'll just throw that in with what I do. Or I've got that course that I made a year ago. I'll just chuck that in because it's half decent. That'll do. I'll throw that in as a bonus. No, we want to spend loads of time here, right? Bonuses do two things. They fill the gaps, right? With like when a client's saying, will I need this or will I need that? It helps fill the gaps, right? And it eliminates objections, right? So my biggest piece of advice here is that when objections do come up, you're always noting them down. So no. Get all the objections down. Again, it's boring, really boring, right? But you do that through 20, 30, 40 different sales scenarios and you are noting down all these objections. A, you can spot the trends. B, you can create bonuses that will eliminate these objections. That makes sense?
Yeah, I think that's something that we think that bonuses are just there to, if you look at what Pete said there, is like they're there to eliminate objections. It's actually the parental objection. It's like, why will this work for me? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's actually the buyer is actually like looking through the offer. They're like, yeah, okay, how it works. Yeah, deliverables. But this thing, like I've bought this before and I just felt like I was this and I didn't get this result because of this. And if your bonus says, we will walk you through this, one specific training that will help you do this thing that you might not have been taught before, it's like, oh, right, well, that overcomes that problem so that it makes it easier for them to say yes. So a good way to think about this is that in any given buying scenario, you've got three separate parts of you that are buying. They got the child, which is the overt benefit. Like, yes, I really want this. This is what I really want. Pete said that before. You're buying it out of pain or towards desire. The second part is the adult. The adult is like, how does this work? So it's like, okay, I want this fat loss result. I want to build my business. I want to become a coach. But how does it actually work? Okay, well, it's a night school and you have to come between 9 and 12 every single night. Maybe not might be attractive. So that's like, you have to look at like, how will this work best for the person that you're trying to do business with? And then the final one is the parent. So parent is, why will this work for me where things in the past haven't? And that's the objection you're trying to overcome. And that is where your bonuses will do most of the heavy lifting. They'll help that person see that buying this product from you, you've thought about that. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that it shows that you know that person so well that you've got something in your offer that overcomes a hurdle, a problem, something that you've experienced before but felt that it was never solved by another solution on the market. Yeah. So that's like where you've got to be really, really clear. And I remember when I was taught how to write offers, it was like, if you make sure you address those three hats that people wear when they're buying, you will not go far wrong in that order: child, adult, parent.
Yeah. Nice. Next part here, two little more bits on the no-brainer USP. You've got risk reversal. How can you just make that super, super easy? Because you eliminate the risk. This is where guarantees can come in. You don't have to put guarantees in your business, but there's a number of types of guarantees. Unconditional guarantee is like, hey, come and do this, come and try out. If you don't like it, no questions asked, you get your money back. Right? It's nice and easy, unconditional. You don't have to meet any conditions to get your money back. You just get your money back, right? Or there's conditional guarantees where for them to maybe get their money back or for them to get a certain something else, they have to meet certain outcomes or certain criteria. So it's like, okay, well, we have got a 60-day money back guarantee, but it's just as long as you turn up to these 3 calls every week and you do these 3 things every week. If you do that and you still don't get the result, we'll give all your money back, right? So you're just like reversing the risk, but that one there's conditional. So you're putting some conditions in place.
Yeah, and I think that's what I've noticed. I guess my partner Poppy, she's invested heavily in 2 services over the last, say, year or 2. She invested like 5 figures in an app, the Makeup Bible that she created, and they did like a certain amount of the work, and all the risk was with Poppy, none of it with them. And they got to like the budget that they'd been given, and they stopped, and it wasn't even usable, and she hadn't even had a chance to get it to market to get money in so it could finance itself. All the risk was with her. And I just said to her, like, was there no risk reversal put on the sale? And she was like, no. I was like, that was a very risky investment for you. And it's the same with a copywriter that she paid like 9 grand plus for copy for people to write her offer for her. You know, so what me and Peter talk about right now, people are paying 5 figures to get this done. We're giving you this information for free. And the person wrote the copy, and then no sales came from that copy. And I was like, what? So are they going to do an amends? Are they going to? And she was like, no, that wasn't part of the deal. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is incredible. You've literally taken on all the risk. And so what Pete was sharing there is that having a risk reversal strategy is like, how can you meet the client, say, listen, we're in this together. We both want you to successful. This is what I've done to mitigate your risk. And I think this is something that people don't take into account. They really don't make considerations about this. And they look at like, why aren't people buying from me? And like, well, it's so risky for them. You know, all the risk is with the client. So I think it's really, really worthwhile, and not putting these crazy guarantees that, okay, after 30 days, if you've taken, if you've been on the program, you've got no results, we'll give you your money back. That's just going to attract people that are not committed. But what you could do is like, if you, like what Pete said there, conditional guarantees, if you do these 10 things and you can show me you've done these 10 things and evidence those 10 things and you still haven't made your money or got your result, then you can have a refund. And those 10 things are often the things that they will struggle to do. And if they do them, they will get a result. And we use that in the fitness space for a long time, and it was really powerful. So be mindful of that. When you're writing your offer, get rid of the risk from the client and you'll see money flow into your bank account like you wouldn't believe. It's a game changer.
Yeah. Well, like what happened with Poppy there. So there's 2 experiences, different experiences. When she's going out into the market again, maybe looking for those similar services, maybe she's going to design an app again, wants a new app, or she's going to go and find another copywriter again. She'll be way more aware to look at, okay, well, what's in place if this doesn't work out? Because I got stung before.
Yeah.
So, and that's exactly where risk reversal guarantees can come in, but also like the bonuses and what we spoke about before, like the premiums and the bonuses, because objections will come up from Poppy when she goes and talks to another copywriter, but that copywriter could absolutely have, okay, well, these are all these bonuses that I actually have in, you get 5 rounds of iterations. Like that's bonus number 1. Bonus number 2 is if you are not happy with all of this content that I've written in the first 30 days, we'll rewrite it at no extra cost, right? It's like, wow, okay, now I'm feeling really at ease because I've been stung in the past.
Yeah, it was interesting because actually what she said afterwards, she said, well, I'm really surprised because she sent her a feedback letter and sent this person a feedback letter, and this person didn't even reply. And she said, well, she shot herself in the foot a little bit there because I'm never going to recommend her to anyone ever again. And I sent 5 people to her. So that's 40 plus grand that she's given her in business. That's someone who's referring is no longer going to refer. So that's like how you've got to play the long game with this. And I see this all the time.
Yeah. Last point on the USP here, on the proposal, is just reason to respond now. Like, is there a reason to respond now? Like, 2 reasons why: time bound or quantity bound. So time bound is this offer is running out on Friday at midnight, so it's stopping then, or it's stopping after the weekend. Quantity bound is we only have spots for 10 more people, right? So like one of the guys who came on the open week with his building firm, it's like we only have space for 1 more client, right, in the next 30 days. So it's time bound and it's quantity bound, so we can only take on 1 more client in the next 30 days. All right. So it's a reason for someone to go, do you know what? Actually, let's act on this quickly. Like next Friday is Black Friday, right? There will be loads and loads of sales going on. And what loads of people are going to go and do? We're going to go and buy stuff. Even I was like, right, actually, I want to get my bathroom done. So we're just going to do a bathroom refurb. And I'm thinking, I'll wait till Black Friday because there's bound to be a load of sales on the things that I want to buy. And I'll just buy it then. It's time bound.
Put in a bathtub, Pete.
I'm not going to get bathtub. No, I'm a walking shower. I'm a walking shower man.
Yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, you've got a kid and no tub.
No, he has his little bath, little mobile bath.
I was like, yeah, guys, but the why buy now? Just a mention on Black Friday, because this will be out before Black Friday. This podcast is that people are conditioned to buy on Black Friday. I've
Yeah,
spoken to like 3 coaching clients this week. Like, oh no, I'm not going to put out an offer during Black Friday. I'm like, why not? People are conditioned to buy. Like, look, listen to what Pete just said. He's waiting to buy on Black Friday. So like, you're doing yourself a disservice by people. Like, there's a global, like, if you buy into a global pattern, most people do. Like, there's a very few people that recognize global patterns as just that, is that people are conditioned by the marketplace to buy on Black Friday. You are definitely doing yourself a disservice to not have an offer out there. And like, this is something I wanted to share just in closing, is that there are 4 forces that you need to be aware of, or 6 forces in relationship building, but one of them is something called magnitude. And the way to scream that your offer has magnitude is going to give someone an experience, is not to drop the price. It's to actually raise your price or add value. Now, like, the thing that most people think on Black Friday is that you have to knock a load of money down, so you actually reduce your margins. We're going the opposite. We're adding value. Actually, like, buy on Black Friday and we're adding value to the service that you already have. We've got a phenomenal offer. And on to go out, this week and Black Friday, and that offer means that we're not going to reduce and hack away at our bottom line. And I think this is what a lot of businesses think. It's like, I'm going to reduce the price, going to put a load of stuff on, and I'm just going to have to work really hard. Where everyone else is going that way, go the opposite way. Add value, and actually don't reduce the price. Add price, add price, add price, but make it a no-brainer offer, like Pete said before. And the final 2 of add in magnitude is solve a bigger problem with your offer. So where you might have on Black Friday, you might be a fitness gym that normally says, hey, come and lose 1 to 2 stone. Say, hey, do you want to lose 5 stone in the next year? And make that your Black Friday offer. Because there's people out there who want to lose 5 stone. If you're a builder and you currently do just maybe extensions, like you just normally do maybe an orangery. Is that what it's called? Is it an orangery? Yeah. That you're actually capable of doing a full house extension. Solve a bigger problem. But that might be not just in what you give them. It could be like the way you advertise it is that instead of solving a weight loss problem, you talk about a confidence problem. Instead of a building problem, you solve not having to move house problem. Like, that's solving a bigger problem with your offer. Yeah. And the other one is solve the same problem you currently solve for someone who it's a bigger issue for. So look through everything that Pete's just shared about, structuring your offer, putting it together, and think about who has the problem that I solve, but it's really painful for them. Now, you could be serving busy mums, and then you actually look at busy mums who want to go back to work. Yeah. Want to go back into work. That's a bigger problem for them to have no time or lack of energy. Or a bigger problem could be, we were talking about the housing example before, extend your house so you don't have to move house. That's a big problem for families who live where they live. A lot of us, we had an estate agent on the Awaken Man. One of the bigger problems that he saw was that people didn't want to move from their area, but they couldn't find, the house wasn't doing what they needed to. It's a big problem for them. So thinking like that will help you with your offer, because there will be people out there go, oh my gosh, that's exactly what my problem is. And that makes it easier to be a no-brainer offer. So have a think about that. I think it's really, really worthwhile. There's so much scaffolding Pete's giving you there. Honestly, I can vouch for how much value is in the last 54 minutes of this podcast. If you really...
that's just part 1.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to do part 2.
We have to do a part 2.
Oh, we're going part 2. Yeah, we're going to keep it under an
I
hour.
think we need to, because the next part is actually around the solution, because we've just talked about the proposal, but we're now thinking about, the solution part as well. So we could talk for another hour on that. So let's do a part 2.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for listening in today. I really, really value your attention, listening in. There's no value in what we've just said, as in terms of it just being something you've listened to. The value is going to come from you taking action on something you've learned on the podcast. Honestly, it's hugely beneficial. We do way more trainings on things like this in what's called the Awakened Man Project Facebook group. So if you're on Facebook, head on over to the Awakened Man Project group, request to join. There's a couple of questions you ask before you come in, and we put more stuff in there on stuff like this every single week. And this is where, if we've been talking about the open week where we invite people to come on, there won't be another one this year, but there will be one early next year, and you'll find out about that if you're part of that group. So thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next week.
Cheers, guys.